This is my dog. He does tricks. Look at it, it's pretty. Okay, before we get into this, this will be a long, stretched out version of this build. There will be a few parts to it, I guess, because it's taking forever. There will be a short, condensed version for the people that just drop by the channel to just go, cool, and then leave. If you stick around, this is kind of my thought process on building this. So, secondly, really important, PPE, please wear it. I'm gonna post a bunch of stuff down in the comment section about the safety aspect of things, where I bought everything, how much I got, what I used, all that kind of stuff. But one of the links that I will post is on a guy that used a forge like this with exposed ceramic wool, and he had an x-ray that he took of his lungs, and 7 years later he started getting respiratory issues, and he went back in, got x-rays, and they put the two together, and it was insane. I think I read there the guy is actually waiting for a lung transplant. So cover it up. Okay, as for what I used, most of the stuff I got here I got from Canadian Forge and Farrier. I actually got the tip off on one of my previous videos from one of my subscribers. He's like, why don't you just go to Canadian Forge and Farrier? I'm like, what is that? So I googled it, and then I found them in there. Oh, beauty. I hope you guys like the build of this video. In all honesty, this was incredibly easy to do. Like, it is stupid how stupid I was on not starting something like this sooner. My dad used to tell me, Christian, have patience. The only reason why this thing is here is because I had to go to work on my regular scheduled shifts, which is 4 and 4. That's why I had patience, because otherwise this thing would have been sleeping next to my nightstand. Just like when I quench a knife, temper it, and that thing goes with me everywhere for some reason. I don't know why I'm like that, but I think I stared at this thing every hour and just went, pretty. Probably 1,000 times. Definitely. Let's get on with the build. So I think we will start by using this 30-pound propane bottle, and by cutting this off, just like that. See, quick. Next up is we'll take this into the smithy and open up this bleed valve, bleed it out a bit, and then I will go to remove the valve, and then fill it up with water, vent the rest out before any sparks get close to it, and start cutting. Right, so I just took this off. This is reverse thread, but did you know that these little notches in here usually means it is a gas fitting? So you'll see these on oxypropane torches and oxyacetylene. The acetylene side, or the gaseous side, has the fittings with the notches in. So, okay, next step is the ratchet strap to your house. Yeah, the support beam to your house, or whatever else you got, and put a pipe wrench on that. Now, I tried all kinds of other tricks because I didn't have a pipe wrench because mine is at work. Didn't work, so I went and bought one. So let's do her. So I did a 4-inch height by 5-inch wide, and I'm using this as my center reference. You'll see that the placement of the door is higher than, let's say, just in the middle. The reason for that is I noticed with one of my old forges, I had a bit of a belly in mine, so all your heat goes to your bottom. Obviously heat rises, but if you have a little capturing space where your blowers or your forge burners can heat up, this stays hotter for longer, rather than just having this thing even and your heat blowing or your burners blowing in and just directly out. I want a bit of a resistance for the heat to go out so it stays in there longer, if that makes sense. Also, you don't want your doors to be too small because of back pressure blowing back towards your burners. That'll kind of kill the heat and your burners at the same time. You want as little as possible back pressure, so that I can also control by putting in a forge door or a brick sliding in and out. So I'm happy with the height here and the width, and I'll do the same for the back, but a bit smaller. I think I'll go with 5 by 2 inch maybe, 5-inch wide, 2-inch height, and that should do it. The other one's cut. There it is. And now for the last one. So I went to the hardware store, bought some of these self-tapping screws, and for 4 of these I paid $10. So I'll randomly space them out in this thing, drill them through, so there's grip for the Kaowool and for the Refractory. You know, I really do think that they should make drill bits out of these things, whatever steel this is. They work pretty good. Okay. These are all in. Now I'm gonna cut the Kaowool and put that in. There, it's nicely in, nice and compact, and pressed them into those screws. It's pretty cool. It's weird stuff to work with. Never worked with anything like this. But yeah, it's in. And I think next up is gonna spray down with some Rigidizer. Alright, so next step is I went and bought a piece of stovepipe. This is going to be the insert so I can throw and cast my refractory cement around it. I went and from this lip, this is an 18-inch height or length of stovepipe, 7 inches across, and from that lip down I measured 3 inches and cut that off because I don't want this to stick out too much. Plus, this is the end you do not want close to that because you need to pull this out after. Overall height of the forge body right now is a foot, so 12 inches. This is, I think, around 13, 14 now. I just wanted a little bit of this to stick out. So let me show you what the forge looks like at the moment. This is just normal construction foam. I think this is an inch thick. Put this on top of that, so no leakage. Pushed it down just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that little lip there, so it's down quite a bit. Stovepipe on the inside, and there we go. So now I'll cast around this.
Now, I might look like Darth Vader, but taped up, ready to start mixing. Cool. Too wet.
Okay, so it is fully full right now. I used this piece of hickory to tamp it down around the sides, and I had to make like 4 extra batches from the first one I showed you guys. So this is how far we got, and all I did was this way harder, but this thing is full right now, so it's not going down anymore. And then tap it to get all the air bubbles out. And just as an extra measure, I'm gonna use my jigsaw with no blade in, just put it on here to vibrate this whole thing, see if I can get more air out. Sweet! Okay, so now it's a week later, over a week later actually, and this thing's dry. Now, the easy way of getting this thing out, I think, is probably going for where you seal it together or you bring it together, clip it together, whatever. So I'm just gonna take a pair of pliers and start opening this thing up and see what we can do here. Woo! Cool. Okay, I need to quickly show you guys something. This is not for this side, but it doesn't matter. If you see on the inside there, you have your Kaowool back there. Right there, up to there, then your castable. So, my thinking process on this is I'm gonna do Kaowool obviously on the inside of this, and that should bring it out up to from here down to about here, and then I need castable refractory to join in with that. I'm gonna slide a piece of wood in here that is about 2.5 inches thick. I'm measuring from the edge to the edge. I'll slide a piece in here that's about 2.5 inches thick, and then that's where I'll join I'll have the block sticking in, the wood block, up to down there, and then I'll throw my castable refractory in. Well, I'm gonna turn this upside down, obviously, and then throw the castable in. This is what I have left from the first piece of Kaowool that I got in the mail. I did order some new ones. Here they are. Oh, brand new roll. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'm gonna put the Kaowool in. I'll measure it on the circumference of this piece of the forge. Then I will probably cut off 1 inch or maybe 1.5 inches of it, so it's recessed in there. It goes in nice and tight. Then I'll cut a strip that sticks out about 1/2 inch that I'll put in around here. The other thing is, I've seen people, they do it that way, and then they put a X-Acto blade or something through and cut this square out. My thinking on that is I want no exposed Kaowool, like nothing. So I'm gonna cut the Kaowool so it fits into about there, right around, square. Then this from here to there will be castable refractory. That's my thinking process on it. I'm gonna try that out, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here's a new one that came in the mail. Got it marked 3 inches from the edge up to there. Here's that one. So what I'm gonna do is right at this edge, I'm gonna cut a nice little angle in there, bevel, and that should fit in there pretty good. Because I want that little bit to stick out of here, right? Yeah, just wanted to bring you along for that before I put my mask on and I turn into Darth Vader again. Right, so that should fit in pretty good. I'm gonna unscrew these, take these out, so I can fit that in. It should go in pretty good, but I'm gonna give it a nice soak with Rigidizer on both pieces, this one and this one, and stick that in, and then probably get this thing ready to get it welded back on before I cast the refractory. I also need to cut this square in and have that other square piece cut out so I can put the piece of wood in so I can do my casting. Now I gotta throw some of this over because this thing is blocked. Cool. Okay, I'm just gonna use builder's foam to do that insert and then burn it out after. I still have some of it, like it's that 1-inch stuff, so I'm gonna cut a few squares out, stack them on top of each other, glue them, and use that. I think that'll work pretty good. Ta-da! There it is. Yeah, this might be a problem, I don't know, we'll see, but there it is for now. I think I'll use this as the bottom part sticking out on the outside of the forge. This will be the inside. So, not too bad. I glued this together with hot glue and not any other type of glue like, let's say, super glue. Super glue would burn through this stuff. So, hot glue was the way to go. Not bad. That is some A-grade welding right there. Okay, this is what it's looking like right now. This is pretty much hollow in there. So I'm gonna whip up a bit of a wetter mix so I can fill up the sides there next to the builder's foam. Get it almost over the Kaowool, and then mix up a drier one and start forming it. This is what we are left with. That is this builder's foam you're seeing right there, the styrofoam. And made a nice little concave type deal. So let's see how that dries. This stuff is really hard to wet form. It doesn't really want to wet form because it's so granular. But we'll see what happens when it's all dried out. It is now 24 hours later. So awesome. Woohoo! Okay, part one's finished. Sorry this took so long, but I had to make sure everything worked out good. Plus, with my work schedule, it kind of draws things out, and I only have that much time to do things. So, part two of this should follow pretty soon, I think. As I'm sitting here right now, the forge is done, actually. And let me tell you, it is amazing. So nice. Check down bottom at the description part. I added on all the safety aspects of things, parts I used, and a few other interesting things. Just have a look, it's worth it. And I will catch you guys on part two of this build. See ya.